wide receivers on the Seahawks, they go as Russell Wilson goes. DK Metcalf looked like he was the hands down first half of last year, number one wide receiver in the league. You got to have DK. He's the number one dynasty receiver, and I don't think anyone's thinking that now. He's got incredible talent. He's definitely proved me wrong along the way, but you got him and Tyler Lockett, both graded as top 10 NFL receivers last year, both finished in the top 10 for fantasy last year. DK is the one, but how their play style, it is like they both don't really go off in the same game. They both have explosive games where the other one's fine, but I mean, the second half, like DK last year, it got pretty rough. It got pretty, I mean, when you compare it to the first half of last year, I mean, where is DK now? Where are you taking him in like a redraft league?
Well, I'm glad you classified redraft too, or specified redraft. So I did just get him in Dynasty, which I was pretty actually happy about. Redraft leagues, I still think he's top. I still think there's a chance he could finish top 10.
You taking Justin Jefferson or DK Metcalf?
That's a great question.
I think I'd go Jefferson.
I might go Justin Jefferson.
Michael Thomas or DK Metcalf.
I would take DK over Michael right now. And it's not talent-wise. I just don't like Jameis Winston like you do.
That one's really close for me. I might lean DK there. I'm trying to think Julio.
Well, it depends where Julio ends up.
Yeah,
but
I guess, yeah.
I mean, if Julio goes to New England, still taking
DK.
Julio.
Really?
I would take Julio because if he's the dominant one there.
Yeah, but it's just not going to be as good of a situation, not as good of a quarterback, probably not as many scoring opportunities.
See, and I would take DK if he went to Tennessee.
Keenan Allen or DK Metcalf?
DK.
Yeah, I think I'll go Keenan there.
Uh-huh.
Targets, man. Targets.
I think he's going to get targets this year. It just depends. I mean, come on, dude. He 12 touchdowns last nope, that was. I can't believe they always just go to stinking postseason with
the
this.
The second half of last year, he had 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 5 touchdowns in the first 5 games last year. So,
yeah. His second half wasn't good. I get it. But all in all, 10 touchdowns on the season. And he had 124 targets.
That's good.
That's a good amount of targets. Yeah. 83 receptions. He had 1,300 yards. Like, even with the bad season, bad second half.
It wasn't a bad, it was
bad
very
second
good
half.
season.
So, like, let's see, go into week 9. We'll just split it. Week 9 to week 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 400-yard games, and 2 of them were very close, 95 and 92. That would have made 6. Second half, he had 1. But that one game, he had 177. Everything else was not, like 21, 59, 43, 46, 28. I mean, he had some games where he definitely disappeared.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that 177 didn't even have a touchdown, which blows my mind. But it's a tale of 2 seasons. And the problem is it's like you said, it goes right along with Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson was extremely hot at the beginning of that season, so was his wide receivers.
And yeah, Lockett is in the same boat. He's just a little less consistent. He saw more targets than DK Metcalf last year. I believe he had more receptions. I don't think DK ended up with over 100 receptions.
No, he didn't.
Lockett, 10 touchdowns. For a tiny little guy, he gets the touchdowns every year, which is really nice to see.
Same amount of touchdowns, 10.
Yeah. And I mean, in my opinion, I think he had the best receiving game last year. That 3 touchdown, 200-yard game.
The Arizona?
Yeah, it was just incredible. Those touchdown catches he had in that game.
Yeah, 200 yards too, man. Jeez Louise.
I think Lockett's going to be a value again. Because I think people are just going to keep... I mean, you have to know what Lockett is.
So, I feel like I don't know exactly where DK is. So I'm just going to say...
he's been in just standard leagues. He's been top 16 the past 3 years.
So, if DK, let's say, back in second, early third round, or would you take Lockett...
He's probably going to go in like late 4th, 5th round.
DK?
No, Lockett.
I was going to say...
I would take Lockett.
I would say in the 5th is what I was thinking.
I would take Lockett.
You would take Lockett? Yeah. I actually would too. So
let's take that running back in the second.
Yeah, I like that a lot better. Because guys, at the end of the day, the only thing that Lockett doesn't have right now on DK was the yards.
Yeah.
He had 300 yards less, but I would rather take 100 receptions over 89 and having the equal amount of touchdowns. That's
I mean,
fine
he's
with
not
me.
going to finish better than DK Metcalf, but the gap between them is not going to be
crazy.
as big as I think fantasy managers are going to be thinking at draft time.
It's not going to be like Julio Jones and Nelson Aguilar.
No. So they brought in a couple other wide receivers in the draft because they lost David Moore. He went to Carolina, who'd kind of been their third guy who kind of just catches bomb touchdowns. Brought in Dwayne Eskridge, drafted 24th pick of the second round, I believe, was kind of a big shock.
Yeah.
When it happened. And then they brought in Kate Johnson, who we talked about in our rookie previews, undrafted rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters for either of them. That's the one nice thing about the Seahawks offense. You know exactly who they're giving the ball to in the passing game, the running game, and you know Russell Wilson's just going to be good, which is nice.
Yeah, I want to say that they brought in Dwayne to kind of be kind of the slot guy, maybe. Because Lockett plays outside.
He goes
too.
back and forth. He goes back and forth.
He goes back and forth.
He's very good at both.
I think that they tried to bring in some more primarily slot receivers because Kate Johnson's a slot guy as well. But Freddie Swain also was kind of like their number 3 or number 4 last year with David leaving too. He might also swing into.
I just don't think it matters.
Something.
They are one of the teams who throw out 12 personnel a decent amount, but I mean every NFL offense is majority run 11-man personnel.
Right. I'm just trying to think of who do you think out of all these receivers that we're seeing on this list, who do you think is going to be their number 3?
I mean, I'm just going to go with Dwayne just because of that draft capital.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and make it happen.
Yeah, he's the only guy on here that's a second round draft.
What was because that
dude? He was actually drafted.
DK's
he was drafted
capital.
higher than DK. Yeah. DK was second 60. He was 64.
God, remember when before the week before the draft, everyone thought DK was going to end up being the first wide receiver off the board.
Yeah, and then he went to the late second round.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy Monsters on YouTube. If you liked our video today, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell icon. Get notified whenever we go live or post other videos. You can see the link below. You can click on previous videos. You can also leave comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. And we'll catch you next week.
Have a go.